He was in the Air Force, so I lived in Roswell, New Mexico, and he was at the base there. And of course, I had belonged to the church there, but one day he showed up at church, and I thought, my goodness, that's a good-looking guy. But of course, he didn't pay any attention to me. But anyway, it was leap year, and so we were going to have the girls' Sunday school class was going to have a party, and leap year was the only time that girls could ask the boys on a date. You didn't do that then back in the 50s, and so I was going to ask him the next Sunday. He didn't show up. And I thought, oh my goodness, what'll I do? I didn't know his name. And so I had, in high school, I was a senior in high school, and my last period, I had PE. And one day, in that week, he showed up. He was up in the bleachers with several guys from the base. They were going to scrimmage the boys' basketball team. So I thought, oh, there he is. So I asked one of the guys, I said, what's his name? And of course, he thought, well, that was funny because I was just a senior in high school. And he said, Teddy. Of course, he didn't go by Teddy. So anyway, then sure enough, he showed up the next Sunday before the party. And so I went, after church, I went outside, and he was talking to one of the other gentlemen in church. He talked, and I was waiting on him. And when he took off, he just took off walking so fast. And I had high heels on, and there I was running down the street yelling, Teddy! And so a gentleman in our church said, are you after him? And I said, yes. So he got his attention, and so he stopped. And so I went up, and I told him that we were having a party that weekend, and would he like to go with me? Well, he pulled out his basketball schedule, hoping he had a game, and he didn't. So he agreed to go with me. So anyway, we lived in the country, and he lived on the base, and so he couldn't very well go out to my house. And so I said, well, I'll pick you up downtown, so at the drugstore. So I did, and my dad had just bought a brand new Oldsmobile. Still had the plastic seat covers on it. So I let him drive.
It wasn't fair.
Anyway, that's the way we met, and then 68 years later, here we are.
She's probably right. I was hoping I had a game because I wasn't interested at that time, and so anyway, I went and we went to a party, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
There were a lot of the boys at that time that went to the church from the base, and there was a lot of them, but he was just the cutest one that went. And that's just all I knew about him. But of course, when we went out that night, I liked him, and it came in, here we are.
And one of the times I remember, her and another, it was her maid of honor, and they were out and they had watermelon, and they were slopping watermelon, acting silly, and I didn't care. I thought, well, these silly girls, and so when we got home, I told her, I said, I didn't appreciate, I didn't.
No, you didn't say that. You said, well, we might as well break up. He did, because I slurped watermelon. My mother had prayed for him for years, not knowing who, because I was kind of a teenager and I wasn't being behaved. And so he was just a good person.